KREM 2 News begins now.
Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 Plus. I'm Tim Pham. This is your KREM 2 News Week in Review. Join us as we take a closer look at some of the biggest stories in the Inland Northwest this past week.
I've reached out to the North Central Washington Special Investigations Unit on where the investigation stands and Live Nation for comment on Saturday night's shooting. At this time, I haven't heard back, but I did speak to a camper who gave me a bigger picture on what he says unfolded right outside his tent. Saturday night, officials told Beyond Wonderland attendees to avoid Campground H. That's where 2 people were shot dead and several others injured. That's also where Garrett and his friends set up their tent at the beginning of the day.
Our campsite was like maybe a mile away from the main set, so it was like a 15-minute walk or so.
Around 7 p.m., he says he and his friends took a break at the tent between sets. Less than 2 hours later, he says he heard gunfire and an argument between a man and a woman. He came out of his tent to come face to face with the suspect holding a gun.
I ran like practically right into the guy. There was this dude holding a pistol. He had he was pointing it at me, had the flashlight on. I was like, what the are you doing? Drop your gun. He was pointing it at me, telling me to get away.
He says authorities arrived and told him 2 people had been shot earlier. He says he ran to see if he could use his medical background to help the victims. But when he found them, it was already too late.
As I was running up to them, it was pretty obvious that they were both dead already, because the one female was already like pretty gray, and like as I was checking on her carotid pulse, which is just up here on her neck, like there was absolutely no pulse.
This all happened as the concert, just a 15-minute walk away, continued.
It was a really eerie feeling, hearing the sets booming in the distance while all this was happening. Like you could hear people cheering and having just like an awesome weekend.
As terrifying as the situation was, Garrett says this won't stop him from living his life or going to festivals.
I can see it being a deterrent for some people because it is scary. Being situationally aware is definitely key when you're out with a bunch of strangers, but it personally won't stop me from going.
Eager to patrol the active shooting at Gorge Amphitheater. Not requesting any state assistance.
8:25 p.m. Saturday night, 911 dispatchers are flooded with calls reporting an active shooter at the Gorge Amphitheater as thousands of people attend the Beyond Wonderland Festival. The shooting, according to deputies, happening several hundred yards away from the concert stage in an overflow campground area. At 8:48 p.m., the Grant County Sheriff's Office posts this on Facebook. Active shooter at the Gorge Amphitheater. If at the Gorge, seek cover, run, hide, or fight the suspect.
Law enforcement is requesting some units to help with crowd control at the camping area.
Deputies find 2 people shot and killed, another 2 injured. At 10:16 p.m., Beyond Wonderland posts on Facebook telling people to avoid the Gorge Gate H campgrounds, saying an incident has been handled by authorities and that there is no current danger to festival goers. 2 minutes later, the sheriff's office confirms the shooter is in custody and that there's no continued risk to the public or concert area.
Active shooter is in custody.
The shooter was shot by deputies and taken to the hospital. Their condition is unknown, and so far deputies have not released their identity or a possible motive for the shooting. At 5:22 a.m. Sunday morning, Beyond Wonderland announces Day 2 of the festival is canceled, saying, quote, "We would like to express our sincere appreciation to the local authorities and staff who acted quickly to manage the situation. Our heartfelt thoughts and condolences go out to the family, friends, and all those affected by this tragic event." I'm Kyle Simchuk reporting.
I spoke to Andrew Quadra, one of the victims who goes by August Morningstar. He says he spent the last 3 days at Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. He says the shooting at the Gorge Saturday left him with a shattered rotator cuff, and all he wants is to get better to hold his daughters again. We want to warn you, as a precaution, we will be showing photos of the injuries. August Morningstar says he's always lived his life with positivity.
Happy, carefree.
Even as he recovers from a gunshot wound at Harborview Medical Center, Morningstar still has a positive outlook on life.
I'm not going to let one bad experience ruin the rest of my days.
That one bad experience was a near-death run-in with an active shooter at one of the Gorge's campgrounds.
And I heard a girl says, we got to call the cops. We gotta call the effing cops. I turned around immediately because everything told me to like, don't be there. This isn't a place you should be. It's not safe. 10, 15 seconds later, I hear, please don't do this. You don't gotta do this. Then I turn around and she's closer. And within that, like when I saw her, within the first like 2 seconds, the guy hopped out and pointed his gun at me.
Morningstar was shot in the shoulder and ran for his life.
I gotta survive so I can see my daughters and my daughters can have a dad. I didn't want them not having a father.
He was able to get away and says the kindness and care of a stranger played a part in saving his life.
If it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have been in the situation I am right now. He held down my wounds, made sure that I was put pressure on my wounds, and was there with me until staff was able to help.
Morningstar has been waiting for surgery on a shattered rotator cuff since Saturday.
I'm just hoping that after the surgery that I have enough motor control with my left hand so I can continue making jewelry or even just be able to pick up my daughters.
Despite the pain he's still enduring,
Hold on.
he says surviving the shooting has made him even more confident in living his life the way he always has.
Just trying to be a positive example for people who go through bad experiences like this and go to show that you can be positive no matter what happens to you.
August's friend created a GoFundMe to help with medical costs. At this time, that fundraiser has raised over $22,000. We'll also be sharing August's full raw recount on our KREM 2 YouTube page. In the studio, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
The family of this 26-year-old believes she and her fiancé had no relationship with the shooter.
They did not know the suspect.
The family attorney says it's possible the two women were killed as they were trying to help a domestic violence victim.
And that Jocelyn and her fiance, Brandy, stepped in to help the victim of the domestic violence.
Because they were both nurses. Here's Jocelyn Ruiz at her nursing school graduation in 2018. Ruiz's sister-in-law says on a GoFundMe page, Jocelyn had a contagious laugh and loved dancing, singing, and attending music festivals.
The Ruiz family loved Jocelyn and they're devastated. My perspective as an attorney, I'm looking into, why did this happen?
He says there's a possibility they could sue.
I'm investigating whether there seems to be a potential of a civil case.
Another shooting victim who survived,
One of those wrong place, wrong time kind of things.
Says he was curious because he thought he heard an
argument or fight happen, and a guy popped behind a tent and points his gun at me. He shoots me once, and then the moment he shot me, survival instincts kicked in, and I jumped behind one of my friend's tents. And then I ran, and he chased me and was shooting at me. And as he was shooting at me, there's bullets whizzing by me.
And while he lived to see another day, Brandy and Jocelyn, seen here with their parents, sadly did not.
It's as sad could be.
This is their next-door neighbor in Ballard.
Oh, they were sweet. Oh, my God, you don't know what that was like.
She says when she had a bad flooding problem once,
In the middle of the night.
Brandy spent hours helping her contain it.
She came right away with towels to help me.
Today we learned in these court documents suspect James M. Kelly told police that he allegedly took mushrooms prior to shooting people at the Gorge Saturday night. He is now facing 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of first-degree assault, and 1 count of first-degree assault domestic violence.
Please rise.
Court was in session Wednesday as an alleged gunman made his first court appearance. 26-year-old James M. Kelly is accused of shooting and killing 2 people and injuring 3 others during the Beyond Wonderland Festival at the Gorge. The state requested Kelly be held without bail considering the alleged crimes. Court documents say Kelly told police he took mushrooms prior to shooting 5 people. Allegedly, Kelly pulled out a gun from his truck in the overflow camping area. He then fired at 2 women, who officials say died at the scene. Documents say he then shot another man in the shoulder and in the direction of a crowd management services employee. The final victim was his own girlfriend, who he shot in the foot and leg after she called 911.
Our thoughts and feelings most definitely go out to the families of the victims in this
horrific situation.
As the judge read off no contact orders for survivors and families of the deceased, Kelly held his head low. The public information officer for the North Central Washington Special Investigations Unit says the team is still investigating the shooting. The Grant County Sheriff also told me his department will be in contact with Live Nation and other Gorge officials on what the future of security looks like. Kelly's next court appearance is scheduled for July 5th at 9 a.m. From the Grant County Courthouse, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
I'm KREM 2's Whitney Ward. Every day, decisions are made that affect you, me, and everyone in our community. What is your response? And at KREM 2, we hold those making those decisions accountable. That's why at KREM 2, there's more to every story.
Shortly after 4 o'clock this afternoon, we learned the 31-year-old suspect in this case was a neighbor to the victims. We're still working to confirm the identity of the suspect and the names of those 4 victims. Idaho State Police said that no new information will be released until the suspect makes his first court appearance. Hours after what Idaho State Police is calling the homicides of 4 people, this duplex turned crime scene was still filled with investigators. The initial 911 call came in around 7:20 Sunday night.
We were in the backyard on my patio doing our weekly family dinner, and all we heard was sirens.
Neighbor Christy Woolham has lived in Kellogg most of her life and is grappling with what happened across the street.
Something like this, no, it's been a long time.
The Shoshone County Sheriff's Office says 4 people were shot dead. A 31-year-old suspect has been arrested. Multiple attempts to get more details from investigators weren't answered Monday.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, I was just in shock the whole night. I mean, I just stayed up and I just kept processing it and watching what was going on, seeing all the policemen surrounding the area still, and knowing that my brother-in-law Paul was across the street helping out, providing a place for them at the church.
Paul Roberts is the associate pastor of Mountain View Congregational Church.
By the time we had taken a look, they had taped off the parking lot at the church.
He opened up the building for officers as a base of operations.
We were here till just about 11 o'clock last night, and then checked, and it was clear that the police were going to be there all night long.
As investigators continued processing the scene well into Monday afternoon, Roberts is looking to what his church can offer when that's over: a sanctuary and a place to grieve.
Just come together, like I said, come together as a community and be there for one another. So.
I did also speak to Mountain Valley of Cascadia. That is a nursing home just steps away from this crime scene behind me. A spokesperson confirms that one of the victims in this case was an employee there and released the statement which says in part, "We will greatly miss her caring presence in our facility." They thank everyone for the outpouring of concern. In Kellogg, Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Just before 7:30 p.m. this Sunday, police in Kellogg received multiple reports of shots fired. Detectives were on scene within 4 minutes and found a family of 4 shot to death. Detectives say they were all shot in the head at close range. Outside the 2-story apartment, they found 31-year-old Major John Kaler. According to court docs, he told detectives he killed his 4 neighbors, including 18-year-old Devin Smith, who Kaler and his wife claim exposed himself through a window in front of their young daughters days before. Smith was killed along with his 16-year-old brother, mom, and grandfather. According to court documents, Kaler said he was upset the 2 adults didn't seem to take his concerns seriously when he confronted them. Kaler's wife told detectives she witnessed the teen expose himself on June 13th. Court docs show Kellogg police were called to the home to investigate. On the day of the shooting, Kaler's wife said she was standing near her husband and heard the gun go off, then saw the teen's mom and grandfather fall to the ground. They were found outside the apartment. Smith and his 16-year-old brother were found in different areas of the apartment. Court docs show police found blood and human tissue on the gun, consistent with a close-range shot. Kaler's wife told detectives he asked her to tell their children he protected them. She then overheard him talking on the phone, saying he had killed 4 people.
The crime scene tape is gone, and a memorial now stands at the scene where 4 people were shot dead Sunday. And we now know the identities of those victims from the Shoshone County coroner. They are 65-year-old Kenneth Gardepee, 41-year-old Kenna Gardepee, Devin Smith, and 16-year-old Aiken Smith. All died of gunshot wounds. In his first court appearance since Sunday's shootings, Major John Kaler heard the charges against him, including 4 counts of first-degree murder.
That carries a potential maximum penalty of death and/or life imprisonment. Do you understand that charge and the potential maximum penalties, sir?
Yes.
Kaler's also charged with felony burglary.
By entering into a house, room, and/or apartment with the intent to commit the crime of murder.
Prosecutor Benjamin Allen called the shootings horrific and asked for $1 million in bond if one was set at all. Allen detailed Kaler's criminal history, which included a number of misdemeanors and infractions dating back to 2007.
Certainly the state's recitation seemed long, but really breaking that down, we have a few misdemeanor offenses, certainly none of violent nature.
But Allen argued the court must take into account the nature of Sunday's crime and the fact officers say Kaler admitted to the shootings.
Admissions were ultimately made to the offenses charged. In subsequent interviews by law enforcement with those in or around the scene, identified both a motive, a method, and a witness to at least 2 of the 4 charged murders.
Judge Oxendine declined to set any bond. Idaho State Police says the homicide investigation continues, but we now know there was a dispute between Kaler and his neighbors. Kaler's due back in court July 3rd for a preliminary hearing. In Kellogg, Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News. Beneath the backdrop of a busy Idaho interstate, a quiet memorial is steadily growing outside this duplex on the corner of Utah and West Brown Avenue.
People are going to drive by here, so them just having the crime scene mind and just looking at this just didn't sit well with us. So we're we got to go put something up. Katie Ann James is a longtime family friend, now helping honor Kenna Gardepee and the 3 family members killed Sunday night. It still doesn't even seem, I don't even think it's set in yet. She says Kenna was a mother figure to everyone who always remembered to pack extra essentials on their joint family trips. She had the biggest heart. Even when we went and did anything, if I forgot anything, Kenna always had a spare of everything. She worked at a nursing home just across the street and knew the residents' meal preferences, down to how much chocolate to add to their milk. The dress-up days was her favorite thing, so they dress up, and for the residents and have fun. James says Kenna's father, Kenneth, was helping raise her 2 teen boys, Devin and Aiken Smith. Aiken was about to turn 17 and looking forward to a military career after high school while serving in junior ROTC. Super dedicated, volunteered anytime he could, go the earliest, stay the latest he could. Investigators returned to the scene Wednesday, where prosecutors say Major John Kaler shot the family of 4. An affidavit shows Kaler accused Devin Smith of lewd, inappropriate conduct in front of a window in full view of Kaler's young children, less than a week before the shootings. The affidavit says police responded and investigated with no further details. I don't even think they lived here a full 2 weeks for all this to be going down. So for them to not even give the law enough time to do anything, this stuff takes time and it's a process. So for them to not even let the law actually do what they need to do the correct and legal way, and then just to take it into their own hands and think that they can play God and kill people is it's disgusting. I did call and leave a message with the Kellogg police chief to see what, if anything, was being done about those allegations against Devin Smith. We were unable to confirm whether any charges or an arrest was pending. In Kellogg, Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News. In a statement to KREM 2 News, Shoshone County Prosecutor Benjamin Allen laid out the decision to not seek the death penalty against Major John Kaler. He's accused of killing Kenna Gardepee, her father Kenneth, and her teen sons Devin and Aiken Smith. Allen says the choice not to pursue a capital case came after discussion with the victim's family, as well as the realities of death penalty statistics in Idaho. According to Idaho's Department of Corrections, only 3 people have been executed since 1977, when Idaho enacted a new capital punishment statute.
While not included in Allen's statement, another Idaho case may have factored in. North Idaho only has 2 public defenders qualified to handle death penalty cases, and they're already representing Brian Kohberger, accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students late last year. A third Capital qualified public defender from Payette County has also joined that defense team. Kaler's charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder as well as felony burglary. Prosecutors say he admitted to killing his neighbors after an argument on Father's Day. He'd accused 18-year-old Devin Smith of lewd, inappropriate conduct in front of his young children, a report police investigated, according to an affidavit. Allen says the suspect admitted to the shootings, claiming the teen's mother and grandfather didn't take his concerns seriously and that he did something about it.
If convicted, Kaler still faces life in prison without parole for each count of murder. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
The Inland Northwest continues to grow, and KREM 2 is tracking what that means for you with our Boomtown coverage.
Homelessness is outpacing our population growth.
They have been critical of Spokane, though, in how the city has addressed some of these issues.
With more people moving to our area, we're tracking what that means for the housing market.
Is now a better time to buy or to sell?
We stay ahead of important issues like the cost of living and increased traffic.
The population is just growing drastically.
Boomtown on KREM 2 News, where there's more to every story.
I'm outside the Maverick on Spokane South Hill, where gas here is $4.69, and that's 30 cents more per gallon than just a month ago. $4.89. That's how much you'll be paying for gas at this station in the valley.
The gas prices are insane.
Gwendolyn Webb drives half an hour every day.
I go to school out in Cheney, so it's kind of a lot, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
But drive across state lines and you'll find gas almost $1 cheaper. Many drivers from Washington have gone to Idaho just to fill up their tank.
So I actually plan my trips so I don't have to fill up as much in Spokane. So whenever I come to Idaho, I fill up.
Like many other drivers, Shay Reynoso is frustrated. Washington gas prices are the highest in the nation, the first time since 2005.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's just expensive now because it's summer.
The Washington Department of Ecology says the rise in the price of gas in Washington is due to a number of factors.
Supply and demand, including things like currently or recently some refineries and pipelines have been offline or reduced capacity because of maintenance.
But Gas Buddy says the main problem is Washington's new Cap and Invest program that went into effect earlier this year. The program was passed by legislature with the goal to reduce emissions. Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says a new law has led to higher prices at the pump.
When the Cap and Trade program was implemented now, we've seen a departure between Oregon and Washington that continues to grow, and now it's at a difference of about 35 cents.
Before the new law took effect, Ecology only anticipated gas prices going up a couple of cents per gallon as a result of the new law. Gas Buddy says that the average price of gas in Spokane is $4.73 per gallon, and that's $1 above the national average. In Spokane, Nathan Hun, KREM 2 News.
Trent Holyoke and his horse have perfected this routine.
We're just going to get them all nice and warmed up here in the arena first.
Trent has been working with horses for decades.
It's been a while.
Creating a seamless partnership.
Just enjoy the animals. These animals have a mind of their own, but they can be fun and they can be very rewarding.
Now he's teaching 4 new horsemen how to create that same bond with their animals.
And get this show on the road.
This is a 4-week horsemanship training program through the U.S. Border Patrol and Customs Agency.
We start with the very basics, from bookwork, learning policy, what we can and can't do. Then we go into parts of the horse, safety with the horse.
So after 4 weeks of learning all of the basics down in Colville, the 4 students were able to bring the horses up to the U.S.-Canadian border. And this is one of the last lessons before those 4 students become certified horse patrol riders.
We have about 40 certified riders, 10 of those being instructors. And with these guys, it'll add 4 more.
4 more agents to help patrol the northern border.
And what we'll do is we'll just set out. Up behind us is the border. We'll get on that fence line and just ride, basically.
The agents are looking for tracks on the ground, cars that shouldn't be there, anything out of place.
Believe it or not, these horses too will alert us to anything that's in the area that shouldn't be. They'll pin their ears, and you see them now kind of pointing his ears over there at you, looking around. They're just naturally very curious.
The partnership also makes it easier to cover more ground.
We use them specifically in these remote mountain areas to get up into places where, we can't normally get.
Only a few sectors have horses up here, but the U.S. Border Patrol uses a lot of horses on the southern border. With Title 42 ending last month and more people crossing at the Mexico border, the offices up here have been helping out where they can. Spokane Sector Chief says some agents have been working remotely for the southern sectors, all while these agents finish up their certifications to patrol on horseback.
1 minute we can stand in here with you talking and doing our thing, and the next minute we're on the chase and it's a game on.
A game easier to win when the horse and the rider work in harmony. In Spokane, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Thank you for joining us here on KREM 2 Plus for a look at some of the biggest news stories of the past week. For the most current news throughout the weekend, you can watch our latest newscast right here on KREM 2 Plus. Just look for them in the bottom navigation menu. I'm Tim Pham. Thanks for watching.